about what the future
rights is about protecting the well-being of children. Children thrive when they have safe and secure relationships with their parents. Any attack on the parent-child relationship is an attack on their safety and well-being.
That was Megan Brock, a concerned mom fighting for the protection of parents and children in Pennsylvania. She was testifying at the parental rights hearing in her county. Parents have been voicing their dissatisfaction with these policies, from COVID lockdowns to what's being taught in the classroom. Megan Brock, she's a mom of two, and she's with us now. Megan, thanks so much for coming on. We've spoken to a number of parents who have found the courage to speak out at these school board meetings because something was so pressing and concerning to them that they wanted to do so. Tell me about the moment that really encouraged you to step up and testify.
Well, for me, the moment happened back in June of 2020 when our local health director, I live in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and we have our own local health department. And our health director was advocating for every child to receive an in-person education that fall. And what we watched happen in our county is we watched his guidance go from spreading across the state, which would have allowed every child in Pennsylvania to be in school, to watching him be shut down by the teachers union, by local politicians who weren't supporting kids being in school. And when I saw that happening, it just did not make sense to me. And I realized that our children were going to be needlessly hurt. And we're really seeing that as we look at the results of the recent education scores.
Can you talk about that on a personal note? Have you noticed with your own kids some delays in learning?
I mean, my children, thankfully, I was able to put them in a private school where they received an in-person education, which is kind of the big joke in all of this. In Bucks County, in the fall of 2020, all of our private schools, whether it's a Catholic school, whatever kind of school, were open and kids were in school, while public kids in public schools were kept at home. And so at that time, I was receiving messages from all kinds of people, many who I didn't even know, telling me that their children were struggling because they were being denied an in-person education. And for me, I spoke up because it wasn't just about my kids, it was about the entire community. And it's, as adults, I feel we have a responsibility to speak up for children when we see them being harmed.
Sure. And not every family has the ability to change schools, right? They would have been stuck in that online learning situation. Because you spoke and were so emotional about it, so much so that you decided to change where your children go to school so they could actually go in person and receive their education. What was the response from the school district you left?
I think the response in our community has been that in-person education was a very divisive issue, which did cause a lot of controversy, but we saw a lot of parents really mobilize on a grassroots level to speak up for their children. And we did see a lot of school boards actually advocate to follow the guidance of our health director. I mean, that's one of the big things people need to realize. In Pennsylvania, we actually had a public health official who's been advocating for kids to be in school since June of 2020. So a lot of parents just didn't understand why some school districts are choosing to not follow the advice of our local health director.
And it was the school boards that you say sort of rejected that advice early on?
I think it was a lot of things. I think there was a lot of pressure coming from the state, coming from maybe the superintendents. I think the superintendents actually probably played a pretty large role in that. But thankfully, and we had a massive red wave in our school board elections in Bucks County last year. And I think many of our kids are in really great hands now with school boards that are advocating for their learning and for advocating for schools to get back to the basics of reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Sure. Well, there's a major gubernatorial race in the Commonwealth. This election cycle here. How much do you think COVID policies for kids in the classroom will play into that election?
I think it's going to play a huge role. I mean, parents watched their children struggle needlessly for almost 2 years. We had 2 years of interrupted learning that did not have to happen. And particularly where I live in a swing county in a swing state. And we had a health director who was advocating for our kids to be in school. And yet people chose not to follow that advice. And we're really seeing how that was so harmful. Additionally, we had our Attorney General, Josh Shapiro, who when Tom Wolf issued an illegal mask mandate on August 31st of 2021, which he did not have the legal authority to do. And so a friend of mine, Jamie Walker, actually took the Wolf administration to the Supreme Court, and her case won on its merits. And Josh Shapiro took her to the Supreme Court and argued against parents having the right to decide whether or not their child wore a mask. So I think that really tells us a lot about how Josh Shapiro views parental rights, and I think he doesn't really respect parents at all.
He's running to be the next governor of Pennsylvania. Of course, that election now 11 days away. We'll see how the parental vote plays into the outcome of this election. Megan Brock, thanks so much for coming on, sharing your story. Best of luck to you and your family.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.